Okay, I just wanted to show everybody an easy way to take your power microphone if you're using a radio like this or one of the other variants by another company that looks similar to this radio. They probably all share the common circuit board, so if it works on this one, it will probably work on yours. First thing to always realize is when you do something like this, you're doing it at your own risk, so don't blame me if you break something. We have to realize that when we change the way something works, there's always a risk that, number one, it could break, and number two, when it breaks, it's going to probably cost us money. Anything that we have sitting in front of us that we've bought, if we break it, we just basically burn that money in the trash can. So always have to be aware of that and let people know that anytime you want to try to alter something to make something do something that it normally didn't do, there's always a risk involved. So if you understand that and you just don't care about it, then this is probably the video for you. So anyways, what I've done is I've taken this microphone here without a battery, and now you can see it appears like it has a battery in it even though it doesn't. And let me back up a little bit so we can see the radio here, so I can speak into the mic and it's working like it would with a battery. So all I've done is taken some voltage off the radio and I'm sending it through the mic jack to tell this mic that it's getting the voltage that it needs without using a battery. So I've essentially made this microphone good with this radio for as long as both work together. If this radio never breaks, this mic never breaks, they'll last forever together. So, and you can do this yourself, it's not hard or anything. So let me explain what I've done here. Normally there's a wire here, you can see this white wire. This is going to the mic jack here. There's a little wire harness, but these wires are basically this wire harness is soldered here. And I'm not sure the orientation. You can obviously get a continuity tester and you could probe here and here and you can tell which one goes to what pin. And I've already figured that out. So I know that this is pin number 4. So pin number 4 on your mic is this blue wire. So we know that in the beginning pin number 4 was here. And the reason that it's here is there's always a little voltage here, and that's why when I go back to other videos I've shown on these, that's why I always say I disconnect the blue wire and heat shrink it or just put it under this so that it doesn't cause any issues with stray voltage going into the mic. The reason why there's voltage here is because it's my belief that the up and down buttons on the factory mic, they require voltage to work, and that's why it's always there. You don't need that because obviously most guys don't use the factory mic, so you remove the blue wire here, the voltage is still here. You can also just remove it from the mic plug itself, and then the voltage will never go through the cord because it's gone. You could just unsolder pin number 4's wire, and I used to do that, and in some cases that's probably the better way, but this is a decent way too, because if you ever want to put it back and use this on a different radio, you can. Super easy. In this setup, this radio is now sending 8 volts directly from this regulator through this wire into the mic jack, through the cord, through here, going here, and this is the pickup where the 9-volt battery would dump in, and then obviously this goes through the circuitry and goes into the electret condenser that picks up your voice. So basically we're just bypassing the battery on here by using the radio to supply voltage, and you can see it's working just fine. So what I'm going to do is just quickly demonstrate. So I'm grounding to the chassis of the radio, and we can see if I probe here, there's about our 8 volts. I'm just probing right there where that blue wire connects so that everybody can see that. So that's all I've done. If we probe here where the wire used to be, it's about 3 volts, and I believe that voltage is there for the channel up and down, like I said, of the factory mic. There's also an auto squelch feature on these radios on the factory mic, and it could have a little bit of something to do with that too. Pin 3 and 4 usually always have voltage on them, but when you TX, pin 3's voltage goes away. Pin 4, and I believe it probably pin 3 has more to do with that auto squelch, so when you key up, the auto squelch disables, and when you let off the PTT, the voltage comes back and engages that auto squelch. That's my opinion on that. I don't know if that's true because I haven't tested it, but you know, it's going to have a pretty basic concept of why there's voltages on certain pins. Pin 2, which is your audio line, if you go in here and you turn on the EL setting, that sends another bit of bias through the mic cord to power like a non-powered electret condenser mic. So you wouldn't want to turn pin 2, the EL setting, on this radio with this setup. You don't need it because you're getting voltage from pin 4 from the regulator. So again, that's basically all I've done, is disable that wire from the other side and tie it right into the 8-volt line here on that regulator, and it's done. Super easy. You know, no battery required. Obviously, if you have one of these, you need to be aware that the battery pickup, the receptacle where you plug your 9-volt battery in, is hot in this setup. So you either need to heat shrink it or just totally disable it. Cut that off if you figure, if you're willing, if you have one of these or a different kind of mic. It can be any mic for all that really matters. You either need to bypass the circuit so that way this doesn't have voltage, because right now it does. I've heat shrunk it good. It's not going to short anything out. Different mics are going to work differently. Wherever your 9 volts goes into the circuit board of the microphone, you need to make a decision. What do I want to do? Do I ever want to use a 9-volt battery on this mic again? And if I do, then you need to do something like I've done. If you decide you don't, then you can just disconnect that whole line and take your 8 volts and go directly to the input on the circuit board where it needs that 8 volts, or 9. In this case, it's 8. So 8 is close enough to 9. The mics will work. I don't think they're that picky on a little bit of less voltage, but that's how you do it. And so far, it's working pretty good. And am I going to offer this as a service with these? I don't know yet, because I haven't tested this enough. It could break a week from now. It could break in an hour from now. You know, you do this stuff at your own risk. I think it's pretty safe and foolproof here, but you never really know until something breaks. So if you want to try it, try it. But again, if you break something or burn up your radio, don't blame me. But it's a pretty cool thing to do. It's not the first time someone's done something like this. There's been guys that have done it before. So it's just a way to, you know, stop having to use these, is all it is. 73.